I was watching this one movie, and this is dealing with faith. And Miss Helen was talking about it, and I won't give you no details because I know y'all want to go see Breakthrough. But this movie is the ultimate upfront picture of what to do when you're in faith.
Yes. Yes.
This woman put everybody out that was negative, as it should be. And it reminds me of when the protection order was sent out for Bishop. That anything that was negative was not even around him. They did not allow that. But you have to understand that when you have faith, we talk a lot about not by works that any man should boast. But what you need to know that there are works of faith. Yeah. Because faith without works is dead. Right. So what is the works that we need to know about? Is it something that you need to do? Could be. Is it something that you need to say? Could be. But I want to talk about these. First, I'll talk about the enemy of faith. Because if you're in a fight with faith, against it and everything else that is coming against it, you have to know your enemy. I know that when I was in the field of fighting, I had to know my enemy's strengths and his weaknesses. And a lot of times we seem to walk into different things not knowing what to expect. But one of the things that are the enemy of faith is anxious thought. You may think of it and know it as worry. Remember, worry is connected to what has not happened. That's why you're trying to stress out, because you don't know what to expect. And that is an enemy of faith. We talked about today, fear is another one. Fear is being overly concerned about something. And it short circuits what you believe. Because you go into a thing because you really don't understand why this thing is overwhelming you. Doubt. Doubt is when your mind is fighting against what you know. A lot of times we don't even realize it. And when we really believe God so, we don't even think of it as doubt. But your flesh is always fighting against the things of the Spirit. The fourth thing I want to talk about on that is human reasoning. We want to figure it out. Yeah. In the book of James, it says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. And I was studying, I looked at a Greek word for wavering. It is diakrino, and it means thorough judgment. But one way we listen to God, and one way we know that it is God speaking to us in any given situation, is that it makes no sense to us. A lot of times we want to make sense, but God does not deal in the sense realm. He will tell you something to do that is not connected to anything that you see, feel, smell, or touch. But it is connected to what you hear. Hearing is connected to heaven and earth. It keeps that connection going. But what are these works that I was talking about? What causes you to build up your faith. We know that faith comes by hearing, and hearing the Word of God. This means that you cannot even hear if you're not listening to the Word. You can hear something that does not build your faith up. That means you can't hear it right. But the works of faith. One of the works of faith, and it's nothing that you have to do, but it's something that you have to be. You have to know. It's knowing. You have to know. You do not have to try to figure it out. You do not have to try to discover it. When you speak a word of faith out of your mouth, you have to know that God is going to do what he's going to do. You cannot waver from it. You cannot doubt it. And you probably won't see it. Because if you see it, that's another thing. Another one is believing. Believing is a work of faith. All of it is connected. The next is receiving. The works of faith are those three things. You have to know it, you have to believe it, and then you have to receive it. Yes. But I don't think I said anything about the most important enemy of faith. The most important enemy of faith is sight. I used to think that doubt was the opposite of faith. But as I have lived these 66 years, I have come to know that what I see causes me to challenge what I believe. And a lot of times we go through life and we see stuff coming every day. But what are you holding on to? What do you have your grasp on? Do we keep running up into the church for a fix? Or are we coming to the one who has the power to do what you need? For that one, not the pastor, not the church building. Are you coming to the one who can help you? I was listening, and this was old DVD, or not DVD, but YouTube something. And I was looking at Catherine Kuhlman. And this woman scared me. For real. It was the way she talked, but she said something. She said, if you really want to know who Catherine Kuhlman is, if you really want to know, really. I almost turned the TV off because it seemed like it was coming into the room. But she said this. She said that she wants to be the apple of God's eye, and him only do I love. I'm only doing what I do for him. Right. I'm only doing what I do because of him. Only. And I began to look at that. And I began to say, if my faith pleases you, God, if I know who you are, if I believe in you, if I'm receiving from you, even though I can't see you. And that is one of the problems that is going on in the world today. Yes. They can't see God. So only thing that they can fall on is what they know and what they see. there is power in faith. But I learned living and trusting God that the greatest enemy of faith is not worry, is not fear, is not doubt, is not human reasoning, but it's what I see. I can come in here every Sunday and see the same thing, but it causes me not to have faith enough to see that there is more. Yes. Are you stuck on what you see? Even in your life, even in your business, even in everything that you're doing, are you stuck on what you see? And until you stop coming to church, pushing, trying to get a fix, trying to get up to the pastor and know him better, and move towards the one who has the ability to do whatever you need, who has the power to stop your life from leaking.
Correct.
Bishop made me laugh so much, so bad. It was like, we was at another church. It was like, I think it probably was on Grand or wherever it was. But this choir was singing a song. I mean, they were singing. They were really doing it. And this, I don't know how old this girl was, but this girl stood up and said, "There's a leak in this old." I mean, she was little. And Bishop got angry because she really didn't know about the leaks. But we know somewhat getting into this age that we are now, we know what's going on. But there is one whom you can come to every time you get a chance. You don't have to just come here. In your living room, in your bathroom shower, in your car. Don't think that you're alone. The enemy wants you to think that you are by yourself. But anything that's in your mind that comes, because when he throws them little darts at you, those fiery darts that he throws, you ain't looking for no spirit, nothing like that coming. He's throwing them thoughts, them suggestions, them things that mess your mind up, to pull you away from what you know. So, you need to have now faith. Wherever you are, it has to be now. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence, the proof of things not seen. I have learned something in these years that I've been alive. I didn't think I would ever get to the place where I know some of the things that I do know, and I have not yet gotten to the place where I need to be. Because I always come not knowing. The problem with some people at church is that they know too much. They are full of knowledge that they think they know. But in the beginning, when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they received a new mind. They moved from revelation to information. And that's all we know now, is a lot of information. But when we begin to look into what God is doing, and we begin to look into the Word through different lenses, we begin to see that the crowd that was pushing him, he didn't even think about that. But the one who drew from him caused him to turn around?
Amen.
Are you pushing God right now? Or are you trying to draw something that you need in your life?
Yeah.
That question can only be asked by you, answered by you. And I just want to say that God knows right where you are. Everybody has individual things going on.
Yes.
But God knows exactly where you are.
Yes, he does.
He knows your name. For real. God bless you.
God bless you.